Hello everyone, welcome back to our S3 ICT class. We've been talking about CSS, and if you remember in the previous recording, we've been working on modifying the horizontal rule using internal CSS. And by internal CSS we mean CSS code that is typed within the style tags and the style tags within the head tags. Okay, now the last thing that we did in our previous presentation was to add a height to modify the height, this attribute of the HR of the horizontal rule. I told you to type in 2 pixels, just as an example. It can be anything. It could have been 10 pixels, 50 pixels, you know. But the point was to make the horizontal line visible again. So we just added a couple of pixels. But please understand that you could have typed in any random number. So just to show you, let me see. If I go back to my personal site, here you can see that the horizontal line is quite massive, okay, because I modified the height. If we go back to the code, I replaced 2 pixels with 50 pixels, and that is the result. Okay, so we're excuse me. So we're able to see the HR again because the HR has gained dimensions. Now, towards the end, I also said that the height property is not unique to the HR. Okay, not unique to this element. You can actually modify this attribute in relation to other HTML elements. Okay. Now, like I said before, the crucial thing to understand now is that most of the things in your web page are actually just boxes. If you realize that, then you're able to modify them using the same rules, the same things that we've been trying to apply to the HR. So CSS can affect the properties of all of these elements of these boxes on your web page. You can, for instance, choose another element, for instance, the image element. If you type that in within the style tags here, okay, and let's just suppose type after the word height, you put in a colon and then the pixels. So in this instance, 20 pixels, doesn't really matter what number you type in, and then close it with a semicolon. Remember that you have to have the curly braces, okay? And as you will see, this affects the height of your picture. If I go to my personal web page, you can see that that picture is very small. If I go back to Atom, this is precisely what I did. So within the style tags, I typed in img, curly braces there, typed in height, colon, 20 pixels, and then semicolon. Now if you change that height from 20 pixels to say 100 pixels, okay, you will see that it's actually bigger. Okay, has become bigger. So let me do that again. Control S, refresh, smaller. I change it one more time, let's say 150. Control S to save. Go back to my web page. I refresh that, and it's big again. Now what would happen if I erase that, all of it? Okay, Control S, refresh, and then it's back to the original size. Okay, and this is precisely what we meant by the fact that you can apply or you can modify one particular attribute, the height. As you can see, it's here under HR and also here under IMG or image. Okay, so you can go on ahead and do what I did, delete the that particular element within style, the image element, and also the modifications to the attribute height. Okay, what you can do now is, so you save and refresh, and then you can go to devdocs.io and look at, remember we searched up height there. So go on ahead and do what I did. I deleted the image element here from within the style tags and also the modification. So you can go ahead and do that. Save and refresh, save it here and then refresh your browser so that you're back to normal. Now what we can do now is go to DevDocs. Okay, go to the CSS section and you will see the other elements that you can modify. So I'm here at devdocs.io, so you can delete that, search word, then click on CSS, and then you can see all the other elements that you can actually modify. Okay, so what else can you do with the HR? So you can also take a look at the width. We've talked about that in passing. Search that up and you are here. As you can see, you can also modify the width of an element. So if we go back to our PowerPoint, so you can change the width of your HR. We're still in the same spot. Just type in width, colon, 100 pixels, let's say, and then close it with a semicolon. What happens then? I've typed that in my HTML file with colon 100 pixels semicolon. Okay, and then I'm going to hit Control Save. So I want to save that. Go to our web page, refresh it, and as you can see, I hope that's visible, the width of the HR on this web page has changed. So it no longer extends from end to end of the screen. But now suppose that you don't want to have a fixed HR width. Now given that people should be able to access your web page on different devices, what do? Okay, so if you're designing a web page and then that web page should be accessible, should be visible at different devices, different screens. So you shouldn't choose a width value that is fixed like we did, 100 pixels only. What you can do is to change the width of the HR to a percentage, okay, relative to the entire width of the screen. So for instance, instead of typing in 100 pixels like a fixed number, you can type in 30%, 50%, that's up to you. You save and refresh, and then you can check your your own web page. Just give me a minute, let me modify that here. So 30%. I'm going to save that. That's saved. Let me return to the web page. Let me refresh it, and what do we have here? So that is, you can see the size, the width of the HR has changed. Now it's 30%. It's rather clear. It's 30% of the entire screen. Okay. And we know that this is effective, that this is right, because if we separate that, and then let me grab that and move it. Okay, the width is not fixed, it moves relative to the size of that particular screen. Okay, I hope this is clear. You see, so you can try that out on your own. Try to play with the width, and if you want the height of the HR, modify that in your code and see how it affects your web page, your personal web page. Okay, that's it for now. I'll see you in the next video.